Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you all are doing well today. I'm super excited for the video today. What we're going to be doing today is looking at a piece from LeCoultre from the 1960s. It is this LeCoultre automatic master mariner. It's a very, very cool watch from the 1960s, and I think is a perfect example of how amazing vintage LeCoultre really is for someone who's interested in collecting vintage watches. I think they produce some incredible things, especially in the 1950s, 1960s. And again, this is a great example of something that you can pick up for a relatively affordable price when you're looking at the whole vintage watch market. And you'll get a tremendous amount of value with this if you strap it onto your wrist, and a lot of respect from watch collectors if you have something like this on your wrist. So very excited to go into this watch. I'll obviously flip perspectives so you can get a close-up of what this watch looks like. I'll go over some details about the Master Mariner line, this Master Mariner 1200, and then obviously you'll be able to see the whole case, strap, and the works of this watch really in the metal and see how it's running. So very excited to get into this video with you. So without further ado, let me flip perspectives so you can take a look at this incredible LeCoultre. All right, very excited to jump into this LeCoultre Master Mariner that we showed you in the opening of this video. This is, and I said it in the opening of this video, but I think this is an example of a watch that LeCoultre made and is now considered vintage that really demonstrates the incredible watchmaking that the history of the LeCoultre brand and the value that you can get from something from this really historic brand. So if you don't know, the LeCoultre is a watch manufacturer based out of Switzerland, and the history of this brand is pretty rich. They have an incredible history of creating some incredible timepieces, things like the LeCoultre Reverso, which is obviously one of their iconic pieces, is one that comes to mind for many people. But they did produce some really incredible pieces that had things like power reserve indicators and the likes. And so really rich history from this brand. This watch is part of the Master Mariner line, as you can see written sort of at 6 o'clock. Let me see if I can get a good view for you all to see the signature there. You can see at 6 o'clock we have Master Mariner written there. And the Master Mariner collection was introduced by LeCoultre in 1958 to celebrate the company's 125th year anniversary. The Master Mariners were obviously advertised as watches that were meant to be durable, waterproof, and pretty stylish at the same time. I think this watch definitely exemplifies exactly those traits that I mentioned previously. As you can see, this watch is a time-only piece. It has an hour's hand, a minute's hand, and a second's hand, center second's hand, and it's an automatic piece. This watch actually runs on the caliber 880, which is a bumper movement. I'll get into that in a little bit. So the Master Mariners were produced, this sort of iteration of the Master Mariner is the Master Mariner 1200. If we flip over the watch here, you can see at the top of the watch, you can see Master Mariner 1200 written at the top of the case. The 1200 series of the Master Mariner were produced in a couple of dial configurations. This one you can see has indices for every number except for 12, 3, 6, and 9. But there are some versions of this piece that have numerals for every single hour marker. This one's quite interesting. I think it's a nice sort of middle of the road one, where you have a mixture of both the numerals and then the sort of stick hour markers. This watch itself is 10 karat gold filled. If I can get the back here to focus. It's always fun with the camera when you're trying to get things to focus for you, but there you go. You can see there that it obviously has to take a LeCoultre wrench, but it also says this is also 10 karat gold filled. So you can see a little bit of a lighter gold compared to maybe some other watches. If you want to compare it, I have another watch here I can quickly just pull out. This is a Universal Genève chronograph, and you can see the difference in the sort of gold color that these two watches have. This one is the LeCoultre feels a little bit more bright, the Universal Genève Unicompax is a little bit deeper. And so, yeah, 10 karat gold filled case. The watch itself, if you want to go into the dimensions, it's a 35 millimeter case. So if it's like many other watches from this era, lug width is 18 millimeters. As you can see, it has this black strap that it comes on, no name strap, but beautiful leather strap that it comes on, and really makes this watch an ideal dress watch, or something that is a little bit more on the dressier side. If you look at the dial, you can see beautiful aging, very little wear to it that would indicate any harm has really come to it, and you have the beautiful LeCoultre logo applied at the top, the LeCoultre name, and then automatic below that, and then Master Mariner. As I mentioned before, the watch is running on the LeCoultre caliber 880. This is a bumper movement that was manufactured by LeCoultre and used in the 1960s pretty heavily. The movement itself is actually quite interesting. It looks like it has a rotor on many other that you'll see on many other automatic movement watches, but it's a bumper movement. So let's see if you will catch this. Wait, maybe I'm gonna pull it up to the mic really quickly. So hopefully you could hear the bumper movement actually hitting up against the bumper, but you can definitely hear it when you sort of put it when you shake it in this direction. The reason why I really love this piece is sort of what I mentioned previously. I think the 1950s and 1960s was some of the best watchmaking that LeCoultre had. They produced some really interesting pieces, a lot of them time only, that you can find for very affordable prices. This is a perfect example of something that's produced at a high quality from LeCoultre. If you didn't know, LeCoultre actually made movements that a lot of the other big brands use themselves. And so you're getting an incredible historic brand that has their name all over watchmaking during their history, at a relatively affordable price. As I mentioned, they produce wide ranges, one's time only, but they do create things like the Memovox, which is something that I've often spoken about as being one of the best vintage watches that you can possibly get for the value, for the complications that you're getting. They've also done things with like power reserves, Futurematics, where they had a crown on the case instead of on the side here. So they are really sort of innovative in a lot of the watches that they end up producing during their history. Their experience and that's sort of continued into the period now, where they're producing watches very similarly, and it's just an absolutely beautiful piece. I'll put this on the wrist really quickly for you to see on the wrist. Give me 2 seconds. Just have to put this guy on so that you can see it here. Sort of the size compared to my wrist. Obviously I have a relatively smaller wrist compared to many people. But you can see it just fits absolutely phenomenally on my wrist. The lugs wear a little bit. The lugs are quite long, so that it makes the watch wear look a little bit bigger on the wrist. But it's super sleek and looks great with that black strap. So really enjoyed wearing this piece, and it really does demonstrate exactly what LeCoultre is all about. So as I mentioned, or actually I haven't mentioned yet, this watch is available in our store, and I'll mention it in the closing, but if you'd like to see that, there's a link in the description so you can check that out. With that, I will flip perspectives so we can close out the video. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this really beautiful LeCoultre Master Mariner from the 1960s. As I said in the video, I think this is a perfect example of and it sort of represents exactly what LeCoultre makes, and the amazing value that you can get for this for your money when it comes to vintage watches. This is relatively affordable, and I think it really does pack a lot of punch when you put this on your wrist. This watch is available on the Life on the Wrist shop, so if you want to head over to the website and see more pictures and information about this watch, be sure to head over there. As always, we will have an article in the editorial section of our website that corresponds with this video, so you can check out some more information about this watch. Obviously, there'll be pictures and links over there that you can check out as well. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this LeCoultre as much as I enjoyed going over with you. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos. We talk about all kinds of topics within the watch world, modern to vintage, to complications, to just purely what I love to talk about. So all kinds of things. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for lots of videos, help us out with their YouTube analytics. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.